alone but strong. Let me start by telling you something that you might not want to hear, but you need to hear. There will be moments in your life when you'll find yourself standing alone. I mean, really alone. No crowd to cheer for you. No friends to catch you when you fall. No family to back you up when life throws its punches. Just you, alone. But understand this, it is in those moments when you're alone that your true strength is revealed. The title of my message today is Alone but Strong. You see, life is a way of isolating us when we're on the brink of something great. When you're trying to elevate, when you're trying to grow, it's going to feel lonely sometimes. The path to greatness, to success, to becoming the best version of yourself is not crowded. There's no parade. There's no applause. Just you and the road in front of you. Now, being alone can feel uncomfortable. It can feel like the world has turned its back on you. But let me tell you something, being alone is not a curse, it's a blessing. That's solitude. That's where you find yourself. That's where you discover what you're made of. When there's no one else around to influence you, to sway you, or to tell you what you should be doing, that's when you hear your own voice. That's when you see your own strength. People fear being alone because they think it means weakness, but it's the opposite. When you're alone and you're still standing, still moving, still fighting, that's when you know you're strong. Not because someone else told you so, not because you're surrounded by supporters, but because you feel it inside you. Alone, but strong. You ever notice how in the darkest of times, the most challenging of moments, you learn things about yourself that you never knew? When you're standing alone, that's when you dig deep and pull from reserves of strength you didn't even know existed. That's when you realize that no matter what life throws your way, you can handle it. Not because someone else was there to pick you up, but because you got up on your own. Let me tell you something. The people who win in life are the ones who learn to be comfortable with being alone. They learn to be their own cheerleaders, their own motivators, or their own inspiration. When no one else is there to tell you you can do it, you have to look in the mirror and tell yourself. When no one else is giving you that push, you have to dig deep and push yourself. Do you want to succeed? You want to rise above? You want to break through all the barriers that have been holding you back? Then you better get used to the idea of standing alone sometimes. Because there will be days when people doubt you, when they can't see your vision, when they can't understand the path you're walking. And that's okay. You're not here to walk their path. You're here to walk yours. But listen to me closely, being alone doesn't mean being isolated in bitterness. It doesn't mean shutting yourself off from the world out of anger or disappointment. No, being alone means understanding that sometimes you have to walk your own path to become the person you were meant to be. It means knowing when to separate yourself from the noise, from the distractions, from the negativity, so that you can focus on your growth, your goals, your vision. But some of you are sitting here, surrounded by people, but you still feel alone. You're in relationships, friendships, jobs to fulfill you, but you stay because the thought of being alone terrifies you. Let me tell you, there's nothing scarier than staying in a place that's keeping you small, keeping you from growing, keeping you from becoming the person you were born to be. It takes courage to be alone. It takes courage to say, I'm walking this path by myself for a while because I need to find my own strength. That's not weakness, that's power. That's resilience. That's what it means to be strong. And when you do find yourself alone, you'll realize something powerful. You'll realize that you don't need anyone else to validate your dreams. You don't need anyone to approve of your decisions. You don't need anyone else to give you permission to succeed. All you need is you. And that realization, that's freedom. There's a saying that goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And while I understand the wisdom in that, I also know that before you can go far with anyone else, you need to first learn to go alone. You need to first learn how to stand tall by yourself. Because there will be times in your journey when you're the one who believes in your vision. There will be moments when it feels like the world is against you. And in those moments, your strength will not come from the people around you, but from the person within you. And let me be clear, this is not about shutting people out. This is not about being a lone wolf for the sake of it. This is about understanding that sometimes the journey requires solitude. Sometimes the growth you need, the strength you need can only come from within. And the only way to access that is to embrace the times when you're alone. So when you find yourself in those quiet moments, when the world seems to have moved on without you, don't panic. Don't rush to fill the silence with noise. Don't run to surround yourself with people just to avoid being alone. Instead, sit with it. Embrace it. That's where your growth is. That's where your power is. You don't have to explain your journey to anyone. You don't have to justify why you're walking this path. Some people won't understand, and that's okay. It's not their path to understand. It's yours. And as long as you know where you're going, as long as you trust yourself, that's all that matters. So let me leave you with this: being alone is not a punishment. It's not something to fear. It's an opportunity. It's a gift. It's a chance to build yourself up from the inside out. So the next time you find yourself standing alone, don't look for someone to stand with you. Stand tall. Stand strong. And remember, alone is where you find your greatest strength. Thank you.